And when I hear someone's voice, I can literally hear it play in my head over and over.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing how memories work.
I can literally hear the audio in my head.
Yes, because you have an auditory cortex in your brain. That's where sounds come from.
Is it real sound in your head?
Sounds do not come from the outside world. They come from your brain.
What?
Same as smell and sight. None of these come from the outside world. They come from your brain.
What I'm saying
So
is, how do I hear it? I can literally hear things in my head when
yeah,
someone. I can hear music playing in my head right now.
because when you're stimulated by the outside world, these sound signals disturb your eardrums. They send signals through your brain into your brain, which then activate certain neurons in your brain. Those same neurons get stimulated whenever you think about that voice, whenever you think about that music. The same neurons that capture that memory, and it's a certain pattern of neurons that fire off, and that's how memory works. Your brain is a network of neurons that are firing consistently, and every time you imagine a voice or hear it, that's what you're hearing. You're hearing those neurons firing off. You're not actually hearing there's no actual music in your brain. It's just neural activity.
So, what about thoughts? Like, what about free will? Like, do you believe in free will?
Nope.
So, how do you explain that I am the one that's choosing to think right now and talk to you right now?
It feels like it. It feels
No,
like
no,
you're
I'm
choosing
literally
to think.
choosing to talk to you, and I chose to come up here. I chose to ask you these questions. I chose to wake up this morning. I chose to eat food this morning. I chose that stuff.
Well, yes, it feels like it. But the problem is that you didn't choose freely. There is always something influencing your choice. There's always somebody or something influencing what you do, what you
Like what?
say, what you think. You're never freely doing it on your own fruition. It's always something else causing that happen.
I chose to come up here. Like I chose to do that.
But you're influenced by something in your brain, right? Something in your brain told you to come up here and talk to me, right? You were intrigued. You were influenced by my live. There is something influencing your choice. So you're never really freely doing things. We're just products of our environment.
Okay, how do you? Okay, my next one is how do you explain consciousness? Like right now, I'm conscious of my existence, but a rock cannot be conscious. A rock doesn't know that it exists, but I'm aware that I'm sentient. Like I can literally, I know that
Yeah.
I'm here.
Consciousness, I have a
How do you
video of
explain
this
that?
on my YouTube. Consciousness seems to be the sum total of the electrochemistry, the bioelectricity happening in your brain. We are experiencing the world through electricity, through electrochemical energy that is being exchanged throughout my body and in our bodies. Um, so that's what consciousness is. Consciousness are those nerve firings, those neural firings
What
happening
about
around your
do
body.
do you think that there is a self? Like, do you believe in sense of self?
No,
Like, I mean, like your personal identity.
no, I think it's illusory.
You know, I mean, like from my perspective, like there's a, like a. Do you think there's a soul or like a, like, how do I say it? Like a self within you?
No, no.
How do you explain that there is like a self within me that's conscious right now? That's literally conscious right now.
Again, that's just different parts of your brain activated. Your brain is a network of different things. Your left brain, your right brain are different. They think differently. They're in your consciousness, wherever which stage your consciousness is dependent on how active your certain regions of the brain are. It's all dependent on the brain.
So if you don't believe in this self, how do you explain that there's an entity that's literally seeing you right now? Like there's a conscious entity that's looking at you right now, using my eyes. No, no, no. That's the sense of self.
That's just an
Within me.
elaborate chemical process.
No, no, that's the sense of self that I identify as. You don't believe in that?
No, I don't know. I don't know of any evidence of that. But
I'm talking about like Okay, whatever. But what I was trying to say is, you don't think that there is a sense of self?
Well, it's illusory. But yeah,
How do you explain that?
let's get to the next guest here. I don't know, Sarah. These are big questions. Go keep learning them, right? Keep learning about the answers. I don't have all the answers.
Hey Mike, can you hear me?
Yeah, how can I help you?
Hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, before we start, I just wanted to say thank you. I know you did that debate before in reference to dogs, and I actually went to search it up, and there's actually no laws that prohibit the sale of I don't know if you remember the debate of dog meat.
Yeah, what about it?
Do you remember the debate?
Okay, yeah.
I actually had to search it up. There are no laws prohibiting.
Yeah. You don't yeah, it's perfectly fine to uh eat a dog in the UK.
Well, in the U.S.,
In the US, there are laws prohibiting you from selling dogs,
there
but
are
you
laws
can still eat
for
them.
well, there are laws for harm for animals.
Okay,
Yes.
do you have a question? Do you have another question?
No, no, no. So let's start with the first topic, right? What is your debate in science? What is something that you want to debate about? Do you want me
Look,
to
do you
ask
have
a
a question
question
or
and you
not?
have
This
an
is a
answer?
Q&A. Do you have questions or no?
Okay. So what is your stance in religion? Are you
I don't
religious
believe
or
in God. There's
no?
no evidence of a God to me.
Okay. Why does it have to be evidence for you to believe in something?
Because if there's no evidence, there's no reason to believe.
Not always. There's certain things that you can believe without evidence.
Like what?
For example, the process of inorganic life to organic life. Do you believe that happened by chance?
Well, yeah, it happened because of chemical reasons. Life only comes from non-life. Life is just a process. Everybody thinks too hard about this. Life is just a process.
Do
It's
you
what
understand,
non-living
Mike, what
things
is the
do.
probability of creating an amino acid?
What do you mean the probability? It's 100%. That happens all the time.
Okay, show me how. Can you give me one
Amino acids
instance?
are just stuff that we find in foods. They're found all over the planet. They're,
No,
they're just
give me
carbon
one
atoms.
instance that scientists have been able to create life from inorganic life.
No, life comes from organic molecules.
Correct. But what is the process of from inorganic to organic?
There's certain bonds, there's certain carbon bonds, there's certain hydrogen bonds, right? And you can have certain organic molecules emerge from that. But amino acids are the building blocks of life. Sugars, phosphates, proteins, lipids, these make up the cell. And these collectively turn into a living organism that can replicate and metabolize.
So you believe that that was by random choice that amino acids what got created
Well,
into
why do you
proteins
have
and
to say it's
proteins got
random?
become
No,
life?
there's a deterministic chemical process behind all of it. It doesn't have to be random.
Okay, so if there is a process for it, a deterministic process, so you don't believe that there's a creator, or
No, I don't believe there's a creator. So, do you have any evidence of a creator?
do you have an evidence of how life was actually created?
Yeah, it's called abiogenesis. We have tons of evidence of how abiogenesis occurred.
So- okay,
We have a very good understanding now in science of how life happened. Okay? Have a good day. Let's get the next guest in here.
How was the universe made?
Well, the universe wasn't necessarily made. It could be infinite. Right? It could be everything. But if you're talking about our local space time, the Big Bang, that's a quantum fluctuation. Very, very abstract understanding of things. But essentially, there's a scalar field that contains quantum energy, and there's certain fluctuations of these energy fields, and certain fluctuations can yield certain particles called inflaton particles, which then decay into baryonic matter, give rise, because of this vacuum energy within that space-time, gives rise to an inflationary space-time and turns into a Big Bang.
But when you say vacuum, does that imply that we're within something?
Yeah, we're within space-time.
And is there an outside of space-time?
We don't know. That's a big question. We don't know. There could be.
Are there questions, in your opinion, are there questions that we may not be asking?
Of course. Absolutely. We don't know. We barely know anything about the world. We barely understand it.
Yeah, I mean, we've only discovered only so much of our oceans, and do you know how much of the universe that we have explored? I'm very curious about that.
Very like 0.00000001 at most.
Is that because of our technology is not sufficient?
Yeah, we can't. I mean, our telescopes go back to maybe a few million years after the Big Bang. But beyond that, we have no idea what's out there. There could be something beyond the Big Bang, an entire multiverse. We don't know. We are so young.
So we could theorize all these different possibilities. Do you feel there is an ultimate truth?
I don't know. If there is, I mean, what would that even be? I mean, I think knowledge is infinite. I think that there is no end to information or knowledge. I think it goes on forever. But
does that ever make you kind of not stressed out, but just a little bit like if everything to you is just an emotional chemical response, and it is, but doesn't that ever kind of make you feel like, or are you agreeing with it?
It makes me happy. It makes me excited to live in a universe that's full of mystery and full of things that we don't understand, and full of wonder, full of things to revere and be awe-inspired by. I mean, the universe is an incredibly exciting place. And it's amazing because we're ignorant, because we can continuously strive to find the answers, to peel away layers of reality that nobody's ever seen before. That's exciting. We live in amazing times to be alive.
And you feel like that will happen in our lifetime, or not so much?
Well, we are learning a lot in our lifetime, and we will continue to learn a lot more. But
one last question for you. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. What brings you joy? Is it science? Is it the understanding of what happens, the processes? Is that what brings you joy? Or
yeah, life makes me happy. Living, breathing, drinking water, nature, trees, people, cars, driving, nature, all the above make me happy. Guys, I enjoy life. Every second I get, I enjoy it. I don't waste it. I don't.
No, that's awesome, man.
Everything about my life is better because there's nobody dictating how I live. It's just we fucking live. That's it, right? I don't need God to be happy.
But your morals are based upon your own experiences, right? Personally?
No, they're based on other people's experiences and based on, how other people behave and want to be treated.
So do you do things in life because of you want to not necessarily fit into society, but you want to just maintain that kind of cool, like a chill? Is that where you stand with your morality? Like, is that what morals are to you? Keeping the calm, keeping the peace?
No, it's about caring for others. It's about bringing about the best world we can. More prosperous, abundant, less suffering, less hate, more intelligence, more fun, more excitement.
How do we go about that? If
Knowledge,
there's so many different people.
Learn. You learn about each other. We stop hating and we start learning. We start understanding each other. Right? Knowledge brings about a prosperous world.
You can't do that with religion, man. You can't. If there's so many religious people that have these preconceived ideas, it's very difficult to.
Okay, well, where do we start? We have to start somewhere. Like, that's why I'm here. This is exactly why I do this, right? Talking to people, conversing, talking, debating. This is how we get things done. It's how we make change happen.
What kind of change would you like to see in the world? And I'll leave you alone after that.
better education reform. I think we need to entirely reinvigorate the education system worldwide. People need to be more excited to learn. People should be more passionate about the cosmos and learning about our space, stars and space.
And
I
harming
think that,
animals, like you should think children should learn about not harming animals and
of
living
course,
creatures.
of course, of course, of course.
I do too.
all
I
all
agree.
these all these are actually related. Science is the umbrella of all things. Science infiltrates every aspect of my life, not just in learning, but in finances, my career, my health. Many aspects of my life are
Are there
influenced by
things that bring you down, like as a person? Are there things in life that just kind of bring you down, like as a human being?
deliberate ignorance. When people don't want to change or learn, and when they're scared, that makes me upset.
What about addiction? What do you believe in addiction? Do you think people get addicted to things?
Yeah, the brain is a very complex mechanism, and of course, addictions occur because there's a lot of chemistry going on. What you feed your brain is typically what uh, happens.
Okay, I
Dopamine and
appreciate it, man,
oxytocin, all
Mike.
this.
I appreciate your time, and I wish you the best, my brother. You have a good one.
Thank you. How
Hello?
old are you?
18?
Yeah, not doing that.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, how are you?
Good. How are you? I got a question. Do you think science in our lifetime will ever be able to create like an intelligent being, like similar to us?
I mean, what's AI? I mean, we're already doing it. I mean,
Well,
AI is the
that
future.
that's what I was going to lead into. Like with this AI, like we think AI will ever get to the point of actually like being into like not like and they're intelligent, but like having their own thoughts and
Absolutely. Yeah,
personality.
absolutely. Absolutely. We are on the brink of producing AI that's called AGI, Average General Intelligence of a Human. Once we get there, that could happen within the next 10, 20 years. And once we have a human like intelligence, well, we can now copy that, replicate that easily digitally. And we can expound on that, turn into super intelligence, something beyond our intelligence.
Does that scare you at all? Do you think that's a threat to humanity at all? Like,
Of course, it's a threat to us. We will not be, we will not be at all seen as relevant. Okay, our species will die. I mean, people think that's a bad thing. From our perspective, yeah, it's a bad thing that we will end, but there will be something after us. That's just how the world works. There's always something after. There's always an evolution after us. We are on our way out as a species.
so you think within the next 100 years we're going to see
Yes,
that take over our humanity?
absolutely. Yeah, vastly different world than 100 years from now. We will not be here.
Sweet.
In
I
my
guess.
in my view. In my view.
Yeah, that's. I just wanted to. I was curious. I was laying in bed. I was curious. I was going to ask you that. So thanks for having me on.
Yeah. Another thing about humans is that our population is declining. In 50 years, our population will cease to grow. Why even have kids? There's no point, right? Along with age reversal, right? Biochemistry, bio engineering. When that happens, there's no point in having children. So our populations will dwindle down to nothing, let alone AI taking over. So I don't see us living for too much longer as biological beings. I mean, there could be something else. Maybe we perhaps merge with AI robotically, but we will not be here for long.
Hello.
How can I help you?
Um, on the subject of more knowledge and science being discovered soon, I just thought I'd mention that artificial superintelligence is going to discover a lot of science in the next 10 to 20 years,
Yeah.
and that science might be quite scary.
Well, yeah, I mean, learning is scary at first, right? Uncovering the mysteries of the universe is scary, but it's what our ancestors feared too. Everybody is scared to change and learn, but that's why we're here today. It's going to happen no matter what. It's inevitable. If we're going to stay alive, we have to evolve. If we don't evolve, we die.
Yeah, but I think there's things about quantum physics we're going to learn that is going to be quite weird.
Yeah, probably. Guys, 100 years ago, the world. Imagine telling somebody just 100 years ago about black holes and relativity and quantum mechanics. I mean, they'd be going, "What? That's crazy." Now we use it in our daily lives. Imagine talking to people about all kinds of technology we have, phones and satellites and rockets and super colliders. I mean, nobody a couple hundred years ago, they would have seen us as wizards or gods even. Right now we do it on the daily. So in 100 years, the same will happen. The same trend will happen in even a more extreme way. The people in the 100 years from now the world 100 years from now will be seen as us like godlike or magic. Perhaps teleportation or time travel, all kinds of things are possible.
Whilst I'm on the subject of quantum physics, I'm an atheist, but the only thing that makes me wonder whether I'm wrong is the observer effect in quantum physics. Like, how does that happen if there's not a God?
Are you talking about the double slit experiment?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the double slit experiment does not show that there is somebody that you have to watch the particle for the wave function to collapse. It's not about a conscious observer. It's about any entanglement, anybody observe, any measuring device, conscious or not. Anytime you measure the electrons or particles, you will become entangled with those particles, and that's what allows you to see that one result, that one slit. However, Sean Carroll, for example, is a physicist. He says that there is no wave function collapse. It's not that he subscribes to the many worlds interpretation where all worlds exist out there. There's a multiverse. There's many different worlds where every result was observed. So that's perhaps what explains what's happening there. Perhaps what's explaining that is that we've become entangled with one specific world where we see that slit occur. And when we're not measuring it, it's this superposition of states. That's what seems to be the case.
Okay. It just freaks me out. So that's the only reason why I wonder there's a God or not.
Yeah, it is. That has no bearing on whether or not there's a God. It's just something spooky that happens in quantum mechanics.
Okay. Okay, I think that's all I had to ask. Thanks.
Great.
Hey, so I would like to ask, what is your religion personally? Like, what do you believe? I apologize for the noise in the background. I'm not home right now.
Well, I don't have a religion.
So you're atheist? You don't believe in God? Can I ask why? Why you think he isn't real?
Well, what do you mean by he? I mean, that's an ambiguous word. God, what does that mean? I don't know.
God is a being that is eternal. There's no start, no end. He is the creator of all. And we use he as a pronoun because we can't call it God. We can't call God an it.
Why not?
Because he is not an it. He has come down to earth in the form of a man.
Okay, well, I'd love to see evidence of that.
There's evidence in the Bible. We use the calendar as like BC, like the calendar we use today, 2024, 24 years after Jesus' death.
Well, the calendar was never designed with Jesus in mind. I mean, the calendar was changed about a few hundred years ago by the Roman Catholic Church that's when they injected this Jesus stuff into it. But that's I don't see any evidence of Jesus, let alone a God, existing from the Bible. The Bible has lots of false claims in it.
I agree with that, and I agree that there's a lot of bad stuff in the Bible, but it's like I've seen a lot of people argue on here how like God is bad or whatever, or like God doesn't exist, but like where is your proof that he doesn't exist? Sure, we can say that there's no proof that he does exist, but where's your proof that he doesn't? Because we can argue both sides, correct?
Well, the burden of proof is on you to show that it does exist. I'm not necessarily saying it can't exist, although some definitions of God I would say are troublesome.
Like,
Well, if you say that God is all good, but there's evil, that's a problem to me. Why would there be
Where's-
evil if God's all good?
he is all good. He created man, and man is not all good, but he created
There's
us
a
with
problem.
the.
I mean, why would an all good God create an evil being?
He didn't create an evil being. He created us in his image, but he created us with free will, and the devil tempts us every day.
Right, but the free will does not necessitate you doing bad actions. I mean, God has free will, but never does evil with his free will. So God could have made us good such that we never do wrong.
But then there would be no free will.
Well, does God have free will?
He does.
Does God ever choose wrong?
No.
Okay, so clearly you can have a world where there's people that have free will and never choose wrong.
No, because the free will, like part of it. Yes, he does have free will, but we are not on his level. We are not like God. We are different. We are a completely separate being. Does
I
that
don't
make
see why
sense?
that
Like it
matters.
makes sense in my head, but it's not coming out right, if that makes any sense at all.
I don't see why it matters who we are versus God. I mean, first of all, God didn't not even have to make this world. Evil is never necessary, because this world never had to be designed or made. There's no necessity for us to exist. So I think that renders God irrelevant, or either not evil, either evil or not relevant. So,
Okay, so how do you
Good
think the
point.
world came to be then?
well, what do you mean by the world?
Say the universe.
We don't know how the universe got here. Maybe it didn't get here. Maybe it always was.
But it's the energy is made of matter, and it can't just always. It has to have a start, and there's no logical explanation as to why there is so much energy, like because you cannot make nothing from nothing. Correct?
Well, there doesn't need to be a start. There we could have a universe that was always there some way, or if it did come from something before, it could be something that we just don't quite understand yet. Some kind of natural entity, some kind of weird primordial state of matter that we just don't comprehend yet. We don't know. The questions are too large for us to just blanket the mystery in God. God is a bad answer because it's really an argument from ignorance. Oh, I don't know what happened, therefore God. That's not good. That's, to me, it's not a good argument.
Well, we know from the Bible that God is an eternal being with no start and no end, so that would be the logical explanation.
But you don't know if God is an eternal being. You think it is because the book says so. It doesn't make it true.
I don't understand what you mean by that. Like, it does make it true because God has come down to earth, okay, in the form of Jesus, correct?
I don't have evidence of that.
The Bible it says it in the Bible, okay? These were written because there's no logical explanation as to why there were so many accounts of God, as to, like, so many written evidence, like written down on paper, telling the stories and teachings of God.
Well, I know you love your book, and I know that your Bible is really special to you. But the problem is that there's just no good reason to think that somebody rose from the dead like a zombie. It's never happened before. I'm not willing to just believe in the suspension of the laws of physics to accommodate for your personal beliefs. I'm not going to. You cannot expect a rational person to accept your book just because you feel it's true. I'm sorry, you need more evidence than that.
What makes you rational not and me not rational by me believing in a book and believing in a higher power?
You have no data to support your belief at all.
It's literally all in the Bible, though. It's written accounts of.
But how do you know the Bible is true?
How do we? Okay, let's go back. Okay, so there's like the Bible started. Okay, so like Jesus came to earth. Okay, and then there's the disciples and the.
Sounds like a circle to me.
Proof God exists. So if I beat your ass and you end up dying, and you go to hell, will you not believe there's a God?
Wow.
You literally look like a faggot, bro. Look at you. You look like a faggot. You look like a pussy. I'll smack you like a bitch.
Oh, is this the Jesus love?
Send me your address. I'm gonna add you. Send me your address. Let's see if we're gonna be a man.
Oh, is this the Christian
Send me
love
your
you
address,
guys talk
please.
about?
I'll smack you like a bitch.
All right, sir. Have a good day. We love you. Jesus still loves you too. There's a Christian love, guys. So loving.
Hello?
Hi, how can I help you?
Not so much how you can help me, but just what you were saying before, how you said you weren't going to disregard or discredit physics based on what we want to believe, but if based on physics, scientific theory and everything that we have, all the evidence that we have at hand, the inanimate cannot give birth or create the animate. Will we agree on this?
No, it sure can. I mean, that's the entire point of what life is. Life is a process that happens to non-living things. Life is just a chemical process, and it's an emergent phenomenon. So when you're saying that life can't come from non-life, you're really confusing the categories there, because life is not an object. Life is a process. And you need non-living things for life to happen. Amino acids, DNA. DNA is not alive, right? On its own, it's just a strand of molecules. But what makes them alive is when they interact with other molecules in this chemical process that emerges. That's life, right? Metabolism, replication, that's life, not DNA.
Okay, so so if trying to think, you're basing something that's living is basically how they react to their environment. Is that what you're trying to say?
No, look, you asked a great question today. The problem is you have got to learn more about life in chemistry. There's a lot more to learn about it, right? It's very difficult to teach somebody who doesn't understand, who is not up to the understanding that's required. Go learn about organic chemistry. Go learn about amino acids. Go learn about proteins, how they work, right? Learn about abiogenesis. Go learn those things. Then you'll get a better picture of what life is.
No, so I do understand, well, not fully, but I do have a good understanding of what, enzymes are, other things that involve the, how do you say, the makeup of the body, but...
Okay, so then you'll
regardless,
realize that life is just that process that those things do. The process...
So the chaos theory, is that what you're implementing?
What?
The chaos theory? It sounds like you're saying the chaos theory is what?
No.
Because that's essentially what the chaos theory is.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't know what the chaos theory is?
No, I don't know what the chaos theory is.
Oh, okay. So basically it's what you just explained. It dumbed down, like the chaos theory is basically what you just explained. That's what the chaos theory is.
Oh, okay, so
and it's just another...
What is your point? What's your other question today?
No, well, I just wanted to get your perspective on, why you, how you think we came about. If there was no creator outside of us, there wasn't something directing how everything is at the moment. I was just interested to see
Yeah, I mean,
where
well,
you think it all came from, and
it seems to me that we live in a universe where there's just space, time, and matter and energy, and there are some physical laws of nature that we are subject to, and that everything else is subject to. There's this weird area, this weird region of space time where we are subject to specific laws, and we abide those laws, and we can't choose otherwise. We're stuck. We're just flies in a trap, right? And there seems to be only changes that occur over time. That's what it seems to be. This cosmic evolution, and we're just part of that evolution. I don't see any evidence of a god at all, or anybody doing us or making us.
okay, so if say we just existed, nothing created us, and we evolved through time to become what we are today from, whatever the beginning of the human species was. If that's true, why, since evolution this is on the basis that evolution is true, why is there only single cell organisms in the world today? There's no multi-cell organisms.
We are multicellular organisms.
That's not what the studies that I've found say.
Sir, we're made of multiple cells. We are multicellular organisms. Okay, well, come back when you learn more, okay? Thank you. Keep learning, guys. Keep learning. How can you help
Hey,
me?
mate. You seem to be getting a little bit of a hammer in there in the technical stuff. But it's nice to meet you, Mike. You all right, my mate? You all right? Hello?
Okay, what's your question?
No, can you hear me? Can you
Unfortunately.
hear me? Can you hear me? I'd just like to...
Hi. People are funny.
So how are you? How you doing, buddy?
Hi, how can I help you?
I'm fine, thank you. No, I found what you said very interesting, and I wanted to present my view. But first, I'd just like to apologize for the other guy. He's clearly not a Christian, but Christians do not behave that way. We do not treat people like that, and I think you know that, right?
No, Christians, from what I've seen, are very, very rude and very, very mood. I mean, you're echoing, sir. I'm sorry. I hear myself.
Okay, is it better now?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. But okay, but just to get straight to the point, I understand what you're saying about evidence, but I think you're looking at it from a scientific point of view. There are different methods for us to get evidence. There's a scientific method, but there's also a historical method. But from what I would say, why I believe in God, and I know this sounds ridiculous, when I look at reality, when I look at, I observe everything, I see design, complexity, and I've never observed from randomness, mindlessness, we get something complex showing design and order. What do you think about that?
I think it's ridiculous. We get order all the time from natural mechanisms. Gravity brings about order. The nuclear force, the weak force, atomic forces, angular momentum, all kinds of physical features of the universe that bring rise to order from chaos. I mean, as a whole, the universe is becoming more chaotic, but there are pockets of order within this that we can exist within. And there does not need to be a man causing order. There's no order man going, okay, let's put order here. It seems like we're just following certain physical laws according to entropy, and there happens to be some pockets of order here and there. I don't see why this is so hard.
No, I'm not saying that there has to be a man, but I'm just using the principle of what we observe every day. We do not see design complexity from mindlessness. And I'm glad that you mentioned gravity, by the way.
You're
Gravity.
assuming design. You're assuming that there is some design. when there doesn't have to be a design. I mean, are clouds design? Are volcanoes design? Are rivers? Cancers? I mean,
Okay, you mentioned gravity, right? Here's the thing, and I know a lot of people use gravity like that, but gravity shows consistency, and we don't see gravity showing any signs of chaos or randomness. So, how do you reconcile gravity being something that comes from chaos?
gravity does not come from chaos. Gravity is just a feature of space and time. It's not. It's not. It doesn't come from chaos. Chaos is just the measurement of disorder. Okay, that applies to matter and energy in the universe. So gravity affects matter, but gravity does not come from chaos.
So, gravity is not a product of disorder or chaos.
No, gravity is a feature of space and time.
So, you agree with me that gravity in its consistency displays logic, displays
What do you mean by
design?
its consistency? What do you mean the consistency of gravity?
Because the way that gravity is so consistent, we can actually even calculate how how a specific object that has mass will accelerate coming down to the ground. So we can
Yeah,
see
but
that gravity is
that's just
consistent.
mathematics, right? That's just mathematics. That's basic
No,
Newtonian mechanics.
the mathematic itself, just just is a way for us to measure things, right? So we can put the mathematics aside. Sorry, we can put the mathematics aside, and because we know that that's just a way for us to measure something, right?
Math is just a way we describe things through our brains. It's a mind
Exactly,
process.
exactly,
But what? Look, so
exactly. So
look. If you're going to say that because there are certain structures in the world, therefore some design exists, I'm sorry, sir, but that's a very bold statement, and I think it's ridiculous because we know the mechanisms in which order can derive without some design or some intention.
but that's the thing, though. We have never observed order being derived from something, from
Okay,
some
okay,
mindless.
well then, how about this then? Is God orderly?
Come again?
Is God orderly?
Yes, the God of the Bible is orderly.
Okay, well then, if that's the case, then by your logic, somebody had to design God, right? You're
No,
just kicking the can down the road. You're not actually solving the problem here that you're purporting to question. If if order requires design and God's orderly, then God requires design too. This is just basic basic logic.
I think you're joking because the God of the Bible is clear. He cannot be God if he has a beginning, nor if he has an end.
Oh,
He's
well,
clearly God
look,
because he's eternal.
if you're gonna use the Bible, well, I'm sorry. The Bible is a claim. It's a story. It's not proof.
And that's okay. That's okay. And here's the thing. Here's the thing. I don't assert for as a way to you that it's absolutely true, right?
Why you dropped him down like that? Hella?
Yeah, can I help you?
Why did you drop him down like that? Oh my god. That
Because
was
he was
so funny.
rambling. What do you have for us today?
This is my first time up here. What you talking about? And now I won. He was doing it.
Oh my God, bro.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Unfortunately.
Oh, okay. I don't know what I did, but all right. So you're like from what I've seen at least, you're saying like one of your main reasons that like you don't believe in God is like science, but was like what's to say that God didn't create that? Like what's to say that God didn't put those things into order?
Okay, well, what's to say that there was not some big-breasted lady man that made it? Okay, You can say this for anything you want, right? What if it was Snuffleupagus? What if it was Boo Boo Monster? What if it was Juju Jagon? Like, you're just making up words. Who cares?
That's
I
still
want to know what is factual.
Okay, but what's more probable, that it just like came like out of nowhere, or that there was something that created it?
Nobody said those. That's a false dichotomy. Why is it either we came from nowhere or God? Maybe there's another option. Maybe we were perhaps always there.
That makes no sense to me.
Why not?
Because I feel like I don't know. It's just like I don't know. It's like I like kind of what the other guy was saying. It's like, okay, sure, we're here forever, but like, how does anything on Earth come from that? How does anything on Earth just come from us like just being here?
Go learn, right? Go learn about science and chemistry and physics. Go learn, guys. That's how you answer these questions. I think it was. Hello?
Hey man, we didn't just come from nowhere, bro. Like we had a creator. Like I don't see why people think that we just like poofed here like magically, you know what I'm saying? Like with
How old are you?
like
How
I'm
old are you?
18, bro. I'm 18. I'm straight. But you see what I'm saying, bro? Like we didn't just come out of nowhere, bro. Like it's like you trying to run
Okay, where did God come from?
I'm just God is an eternal. He's a spirit. He was the first to ever come before anything.
Okay, well then if God can be here forever, then why can't we be here forever?
We're not immortal, bro. We are mortal. We're here temporarily, bro.
No, I don't mean me and you. I mean the universe, right? Existence, matter and energy. Why can't that be eternal?
God made it, bro. It's not spirit, bro. Like spirit did not die, bro. Only flesh and the worldly things die, bro.
Where is the
You know,
spirit? What's the spirit? Where is it?
like deep within us. We have a soul, spirit, and the flesh.
Like where? Up my butt? Where is it?
Bro, it's inside you, bro.
Where inside me?
Inside you, inside your body, you have a spirit, soul, and a flesh, bro. You're not just like flesh and bone.
Okay, where in my body is it? How do you know it's there?
Bro, what are you talking about? Man, you crazy, bro. I ain't gonna lie, but
Hello.
Yeah, hello. I just wanted to say you're a nonce.
What?
You're a nonce.
A nunce? Can anybody translate?
Hey, what's good?
Hi, how old are
22. I got a just simple question. What is your book about? I was reading the overview on Amazon, but I wanted like a little more like detail. I like reading like survival books. Is it like an actual survival book?
It's not even a book, it's really a booklet that just is for somebody who's questioning the world and has these existential questions they want to answer. It's just a guide for them to direct them as to where they could find the answers.
Oh.
You know, that's all. It's
All right,
about
well-
my journey as a secular person. You know, that's all.
Well, that's all for me then. I'm gonna drop down.
Okay.
Yo.
He's probably still doing it. Now he's dizzy. He's probably dizzy now. He'll probably fall over just any second. Gonna pass out, man. Now he's gonna pass out for sure. He probably lost a billion brain cells there.
Hey, what was that guy's issue? Holy shit, man. Never let him back up. Also, I know I have the glitch. I can't hear you. I have the glitch. Wait, all right, but I know you eat dogs. You dog eater dog. Yeah, your dog milk. I remember it, dude. Don't do that. Don't.
Oh man, these people can vote. How can I?
Hello.
Hi.
So, as a Christian here, I came across your page. I do find you very interesting. I got a couple questions I'd like to ask you.
Okay.
So, I've always been curious if Adam and Eve were the first human beings that ever walked this planet, according to the Bible. What's your thoughts
No,
on that?
there was no first person. There could not have been a first person because evolution happens on a gradual basis. And we know that evolution is a fact. Adam and Eve can't happen. There was no first person, just like there was no first animal or first anything. Evolution is a slow, gradual process, and there's never a first. It's always a gradual change. Just like there's no first day that you became an adult. There's no first day you became a toddler or a child.
So, where did humans begin? If you're saying that they did not come from Adam and Eve, from the ground as God made them, then where did human beings, I guess you would say in your Q&A, your evolution. So I'm trying to picture what your thoughts are.
We are apes, and our ancestors lived in Africa, and they were other apes, other types of apes. There was a long history of humans before us. There were many different human species before us, Homo habilis and Ergaster, and all kinds of other human animals. But about 6 million years ago is when we split off from the chimp ancestors, and this happened in Africa. And before that, we were other apes. Proconsul was one of the first species of apes, and before that, monkey-like animals, and before that, shrew-like animals, and go on forever and back to the first living cell. But there was never a first human.
So how come the apes that you see at the zoo right now, how come they have not evolved into different species?
They did. They are. All apes are evolving. It's just that not all are going to be human. That evolution is like a tree. Imagine a tree with different branches, and it's always branching out. Humans are just one branch of the tree. Chimps are another branch. Gorillas are another branch. And if you go far back enough, all the branches share the same stump. Just like life, we all share the same ancestors 4 billion years ago. Life is a 4 billion year journey.
I got another question for you. So I know that a lot of we have the likes like Einstein, and we have some of the great people in the world centuries ago that had major high IQs. Why did it take so long for technology, like the automobile technology, to take off during the time period that we're in now? How come it didn't happen hundreds of years ago with the same people with the same IQs?
Well, because technology, as we know it, as the Industrial Revolution allowed, took steps. It took many different steps, and in the 1600s, there were no resources for automobiles to happen. There was no understanding of how the steam engine worked. So it took time for resources to meet up with our understanding of things. What drove the Industrial Revolution was people, populations, people gathering in cities, cities growing, trains, right? We needed more resources, more enlightenment, relativity comes in. That changes a lot of things about it. But science is really what changed it. Newton's mechanics also helped. But again, it took steps, it took time because not everybody was focused on the things that we have today. Technology always, knowledge, the understanding of it always precedes the technology that emerges from it.
Yeah, you have some interesting takes for sure. I like your veganism. I'm trying to be vegan myself. A couple of questions is, do you believe that there's a cure for cancer? And also, where do you feel like the world is headed from now scientifically to be able to cure cancers and make people live longer? What's your take on that?
Well, cancer is not curable in the sense that you can just pop a pill and there's no more cancer. I think that cancer is genetic. It's something that happens to our DNA. It's a malfunction of our DNA. So you'll never get rid of cancer necessarily, unless you alter our DNA in some way, which may happen in the future. However, in the meantime, what we have is cancer vaccines. Imagine a vaccine where you can tell your DNA to look for certain cells, look for certain cancer cells, and destroy them. Right? We have T cells in the body which can destroy cancer cells, and that's what happens every day in your body. So there is a way to prevent cancer, not necessarily cure it for good, not yet, but we can prevent it to the best of our ability, such that it'll be just like a common cold. You know, you take a vaccine and cancer will go away over time. That's viable, but not necessarily a cure where, you know, it just goes away entirely. It will always be present, I think. It will just be something preventable.
Yeah, it just seems like there's so many people these days that are everywhere you listen and someone's getting cancer before. I don't know if it's because of social media, but even like where I live now, like all my neighbors have cancer. They're older, but you know, it's definitely, I
There
don't
are
know if
many
it's just
reasons.
because of the hormones that they're putting in food, it's the
There are
pesticides,
many
food
reasons,
processing.
many reasons why cancer is rising. Many reasons. A lot of it has to do with diet, yes. A lot of it has to do with people not being outside, not exercising, processed junk food. Yeah, it's unfortunate.
So are you actually vegan?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm probably like 50% of the way there. It's just really hard to
Okay. Great.
to really move over. But I appreciate you having me on, and I'll drop off. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Mike, how are you?
Great. How can I help you? We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? Sorry. Have you heard about water retaining memory? Like science wise. I just want to talk a little bit about science. I know it sounds
No,
crazy. So,
no, I haven't heard about that.
all right, well, there's actually scientific proof where if you speak to water, and I know this is going to sound a little crazy, I don't want to ramble, but it actually holds memory, changes the
What
molecules.
way? How does it hold memory?
So if you look up Dr. Emoto, which is an actual scientist and a person, there's actually videos of the molecules in the water talking. I mean, like changing, not talking. I apologize.
Okay. So has this been peer reviewed? Has this been repeated? What's the methodology? Where's
It's
the
been
research?
repeated. So what he does is he grabs pieces of paper, he writes on them love, hate. He could type in, I don't know, he could write names. I know it sounds crazy, but it's insane how the molecules of the water change under a microscope. To music, to words. Look it up. I'm serious. Dr. Emoto.
I love you. Yeah, I don't think it's been repeated for and to a sufficient enough degree to even take it seriously. I think that requires way more research, way more different experiments to even show it's even a valid experiment. I think that one study is not going to cut it. Right? This is a very bold claim. Requires way more evidence than just one Japanese scientist that is a whack job.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Anything
that was
else?
it for me.
Anything else you got?
That was it.
All right. Have a good day. All right. He's not coming up.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
So, like, what's the difference? Like, is there a moral difference between like animals and humans? Like in terms of eating them or harming them?
Not to me.
So, like, can you explain that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to harm a cow just like I don't want to harm a person. I don't want to eat any of them. They're both sentient, both conscious, both aware, both don't have to die, both don't want to die.
All right, so like, but I would say like humans have more value than like an animal because we're smarter.
I agree, but it doesn't give us the right to eat them.
Why not?
Because we don't have to, and that it destroys their experience.
All right.
Why would you want to harm somebody that didn't have to be harmed? And by the way, babies are not as smart as me. Does that grant us the right to eat babies because they're not as smart as me? No. My morality wants to be, I want to be consistent in my ethical framework. So for the same reasons I don't harm people and babies are the same reasons I don't harm animals.
All right, so yeah, I would just came up here because this guy in the comments didn't understand like that people's ethics are what's it called? Like there's no moral difference between like an animal and a human. So like I do agree with you, and I just wanted to like come up here to show the guy in the comments to explain that.
Okay, well, whoever the guy in the comments is, go learn. Let's see. Who can we get up here? They're bred for the reason. Well, what if we should we eat your...
Yo,
Hi, how can I help you?
are you atheist or agnostic?
Both.
Have you? I'm just curious. Have you heard of Darth Dawkins? Have you
Yeah.
debated him?
Yeah.
I'm curious how that went because I myself am Christian, but he was like horrible to debate.
Well, he set up his own argument such that it forces you to say yes or no to certain questions that you don't necessarily hold to. All he wants to do is say, oh, atheists are unrational or irrational. But that's not what any atheist thinks. No atheist says that there is no God because I don't see evidence. That what we're saying is I don't believe in God. And he can't defend his own belief.
Yeah, I was just curious because I've watched a lot of your debates and it just seems like you're just. Have you ever been wrong about anything, or has anyone ever convinced you otherwise?
Well, of course I've been wrong about things, but I have not been recently, at least on TikTok, convinced of any arguments that I've heard of so far. But yes, I've had my mind changed when I went vegan, when I became an atheist. But a lot of those things I did on my own. No one person that convinced me.
Were you on his live or was he on your live?
He came to my live. It's on my YouTube.
Oh, really? I'm interested in seeing that. Yeah, because that was I don't believe he's a genuine Christian, to be honest with you.
He's a weird guy. But any other questions?
Just one about the animals, about you were saying how we don't. Why should we eat animals if we don't have to? But so, do you believe there's predators that? Do you believe predators have to eat animals, or can they eat can they survive on anything else?
No, they have to eat animals. They can't, like a lion cannot survive on plants. Like it has to eat animals, right? Like nature can't. You can't change a lion or what a bear eats. You can't force them to go to the store. Right? We have stores; they don't.
No, I'm saying would they physically be able to survive on other food other than meat?
Maybe, but how could we possibly tangibly do that? How can I go up to a lion in Africa and say you've got to go vegan? Right? That's stupid.
So if we discovered that they can survive on it,
But how would we enforce this? How would we how would we train them to eat plant-based? That makes no sense, right? I mean, sure, if you want to spend your time teaching a dog how to go vegan, but it's a waste of time to me, right? That's why we don't care about animal ethics. We care about our ethics. And to me, I don't want to harm anybody that doesn't have to be harmed.
All right, I respect that. All right, cool. I'm gonna watch that. What? How can I find that video?
My YouTube, link in bio.
Is it just?
Just my YouTube. It's one of the most recent videos. Somebody said, remember getting bought by blood. Where was the argument that defeated me, right? People say this all the time. Oh, you got destroyed by this guy. You got destroyed by this guy. Okay, where's the argument? What's the argument? What's the evidence? Don't just say I got destroyed. I mean, that's cute, but how, right? What's the argument? What's the evidence? I'd love to hear it. I don't mind being wrong. I just want a solid, honest argument. Here you go again. Show me the argument that defeated me.
Yeah, thanks for letting me up, Mike. I don't know if you've heard of this, but I've just spent all day reading about it today, and I think as far as clean energy, it's probably the most important breakthrough since nuclear power, maybe. Toyota have been working on a water-powered car. They've got they've built the test models. They're refining it now. They say it'll be going into production in 2 to 3 years. Now it's hydrogen powered, but you don't have to go to a Bowser to fill the hydrogen. It has a water tank that you fill up at home, and then they've built a hydrogen generator, which you probably understand better than me. I think it's got some electrodes or something that pass through the water, create your hydrogen, and then it's like a normal gas type engine from there. But I was excited to read about it. I think that's far better than electric powered cars.
They're comparable in terms of efficiency. Sure, there's no emissions. The problem is that those things are going to be fucking expensive. Okay, you think electric cars are expensive? Well, look at the hydrogen cars. They're going to be even more expensive. Electric cars seem to me to be at least in the short term, the best option. Because EVs are now just becoming mass produced in such a way that would enable cheap, affordable electric cars. I mean, look at Tesla. They're trying to come out with a $25,000 car. When that happens, electric cars are going to take over. I mean, sure, hydrogen might be another option, but in the short term, we don't have 1,000 years to wait. We have to make changes now. I think electric cars are the best, especially when batteries become more efficient. I mean, imagine 10 years from now when we have solid state batteries on a mass produced level. I mean, the batteries that can get 1,000 miles on a charge, that's game changing, right? Imagine a battery that charges in 5 minutes and gets 1,000 miles. That will be a gas car. That's way better than any gas car could be. So, or any hydrogen car could be. So I think that EVs are still the king, but of course there will always be other options.
Yeah, look, I've done a lot of reading on the subject because I do have an automotive background, but to me, there seems to be a lot of conjecture as to whether we have the power grids to, if a majority of society went to electric, our power grids would collapse, is what I'm reading.
Well, that's under current infrastructure, perhaps, but I don't think that's actually the case when you look at the bigger picture, because we're implementing more solar and more wind, which is decreasing the baggage on the grid. I think that the
Yeah, well, I know in Australia,
the future is electrification.
Australia have shut down all the coal-fired stations now, and when they're having power shortages, every hot day, cities are getting shut down because the power grid can't handle it running off wind and solar. So they've kind of gone a bit too far, too fast, I think. But
No, that's not true. They don't shut down. No, Australia does not shut down because they. No, that's not true at all. They use batteries. They use wind and solar. They're sufficient.
I'm saying they have to load share off in the middle of a hot day. They'll shut down one suburb, or a small part of a city, because the grid
Well,
can't.
that would happen whether or not there was coal or not. It has nothing to do with the inefficiency of solar. It has to do with the baggage on the grid. It's just too much.
No, they can't produce enough.
Not because of coal, but because the grid is just too much on it. Too much
Yeah,
population, too many people.
Okay, yeah, okay. I was just, this Toyota one, they're saying it's going to get 70 miles to the gallon per gallon of water. The price is going to be not much more than their normal. It's like a Toyota Camry size car.
Okay, great, fantastic. We're happy to hear that. But
yeah.
What-
I was
any other
excited.
que-
I just
any other
thought I'd
questions?
share it with you.
That's all.
That's it. Have a good night.
Thank you. Oh man, I'm tired. Yeah, to prevent sparks. Yeah. Hello. Okay. What happens when we die? Where do we go? Well, in the ground. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you so much, Jordan. I might have to actually talk to Jordan. I might DM me on my Instagram. Just had a question. Pro-abortion or anti-abortion? That doesn't make any sense. Nobody's pro-abortion. No one's like, yeah, abortion, yeah. Nobody likes abortion because it's just uncomfortable. It's like going to the dentist. Nobody likes going. Nobody's pro-dentist. But abortion is required for people. It's part of their bodily rights. What is my analysis on your debate with Rumi? It wasn't even a debate. All you did was say God exists because the Bible was. There's no debate. There's no debate there. Does abortion slow down evolution? No. What does that even mean? No. Why did you leave the debate? My phone glitched out for some reason, and there was a fruitless debate anyway.
Yo, what's up? So I heard you on live. You're talking about like the gender thing, and I'm open to the trans stuff, but don't you see the problem? Like the whole gender therapy with kids. Like, don't you see how that's an issue?
How?
Because, bro, kids believe in Santa Claus and flying reindeer and all types of shit. And how can you expect them to determine their gender?
No, I agree that children are not fully mentally able to understand sexuality. But we shouldn't just shun away children if they are experiencing signs of being transgender. We shouldn't just go, oh, you're just bad. Here, I think we should accommodate at least a little bit.
But like, don't you think it's not good though to
We should guide our children correctly by acknowledging that being transgender is part of being human. We should never just say, "Oh no, it's no children can be transgender." No, that's ridiculous. Children are transgender. But in terms of surgery, that's not even a problem because only 1% of transgender people actually end up getting surgery. So
Yeah,
we should. I agree that we shouldn't let children get surgery, but I think that once you're, of 18 or above, I think you should be able to do what you want with your body.
but even like 18, the brain on average doesn't stop developing till 30. So don't you think anything like surgery or anything like that shouldn't be available till like
There's
30?
nothing.
Because like
Look,
to me that makes sense.
that's ridiculous. That's just a huge reach. I think that your brain is just like being gay, right? You know you're gay before you're, probably 13, 14, 15. That's around the age you know you're gay. On typically, I mean, perhaps even before that. So I think you're reaching here. I think that you're perfectly capable of understanding that you're transgender or gay or LGBT at all before you're 18.
Yeah, but like I'm glad like you don't support the surgery with kids, like, or I'm assuming you don't support like puberty blockers with kids and all that, right?
It depends. I think that depends on the context. But yes, I do not support surgery for children. But to me, this is just fluff. This is just a nonsensical issue. The main issue I want to get to people is that we shouldn't view transgender people as somehow bad or invalid. I think they're perfectly valid and should never be seen as, crazy or ill.
But like even if your brain is different, at the end of the day, a man's a man and a woman's a woman, and that's it. Like there's two genders. And even if you do have a different
No, that's not true
neurochemical
at all.
value, you're still a man or still a woman. That's it.
No, there are people who don't fit under your definition of what a man or a woman are. What do you do with that, right? People don't always have to fit under what you want them to fit under. That's what gender means. It's never black and white because the brain is not black and white. Our brains are very complex and nuanced. There is no way that there's only two ways to identify. There's a spectrum of sexuality, just like there's a spectrum of genders, because there's a spectrum of ways in which your brain can be structured.
But you said earlier that some people may not fit my definition, but they will. Even a masculine woman, in my eyes, if she has a if she has a
Hello? Okay.
Yeah, hello. What's up?
Hi, how can I help you?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you real quick. Let me turn my headphones off. Towards the like the evolution science and veganism thing, like if I'm not wrong, you're atheist, right? I watch your content. Like no, like you're a pretty good debatable guy. So it doesn't that kind of like it doesn't correspond with you like veganism and atheism. You know what I'm saying? It's like one morality trait versus like a different one. Isn't like atheism more like I don't know, like more like evolutionary? Like what's taken away from the evolutionary standpoint of us wanting to eat meat, us having to eat meat, like animals eating meat? Like you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I understand that our ancestors ate meat. I understand that. But we now live in a world where we can eat whatever we want. And because we have choices means we have responsibility, right? Like if we don't have to harm an animal, why the hell should we do it? We shouldn't. That's why.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, like even with agriculture and things that we got going on now, like, are we really harming like too many? I mean, like we giving animals. I mean, if we want to do anything, we should like put more money into like farms, right? Like instead of like just taking away from animals, 'cause those animals are still here. Like if we let those animals back out, they're going to get taken out by the wild animals easier. That's what I'm saying. Like we still got these domesticated
No, you're look, you're not
Genes.
understanding. You're not understanding how the agriculture system works, because we are breeding animals into existence by the billions in factories.
Yeah,
90
that's what,
billion. Look, 90 billion animals every year we kill. 90
yeah, I
billion.
agree. That's what I'm saying. But we still got these
That's
animals.
not sustainable. A way better option is to look. If we all went vegan, we would actually save land. We would have to use less farms to feed everybody on the planet, because most of the farms are used for animal food.
But when we have to be into more deforestation to get like the plotting for crops and
No,
agriculture, especially with winter
that's
takes.
that's the
I'm sorry.
entire point. If we all went vegan, we would save deforestation. We would minimize land use, because most land is used for animals, not for humans.
So that goes into my point. I mean, we're doing it for the. I mean, we get more land for animals, like domesticated
No,
animals.
but
That's
we're
it.
wasting so much more for the animals when we can minimize land and minimize crop use and minimize water, minimize carbon emissions by going vegan.
I mean, that's more like a minimalistic standpoint. That's not like. I mean, say if we all like ate
No, it's way
plant.
better for the. It's way. We're talking 75% better for the environment.
Okay. So okay, going. I'm sorry. I gotta recuperate. Like, I appreciate you for taking your time out with me. I appreciate you again. But like that's still like
Hey Mike, how's it going?
Hi.
So, I agree with you on science, evolution, religion. I'm both atheists. I do science labs as well. So I got no problems there. Veganism is one of those things where I'm still like on the fence of that subject. So I wanted to run something by to you because this is kind of like one thing that kind of gets me hung up. Is I agree with you, the veganism thing, reduce the amount of agricultural land that we use. Agree with that. But in terms of stem cell research with lab-grown meat, what's your stance on that?
Yeah, lab grown meat is, I think, a great thing. I think it's fantastic that we could use animal cells to produce meat, which has the same texture, the same taste, the same nutrition, without harming an animal, without factory farming. Would I say it's totally vegan? I don't know. That's a gray area, but I think it's good. I think it's the way we can transition the world is to bridge to a plant-based world.
Okay, interesting. Because that was the one gray area that I know I've talked to a few vegans and I brought it up, and some of them were like, "No, you're still harming an animal to get the stem cells for it," and some of them are
Yeah,
like you, it's kind of a gray area.
yeah, it's a gray area. No vegans are completely the same or identical. But I will say that lab meat is better than factory farming. I think any vegan can agree there.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. Like I did some like tin roofing on pig farms, and the quality of life those pigs had are atrocious. That's one of those things I saw in person. I'm like, yeesh, that's bad. That's just inhumane. So I agree with you. So what made you decide to be vegan? Like were you always a vegan or did you?
No, I became a vegan about 6 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, I watched factory farm footage and I realized it was a terrible thing for the animals, and that day I became a vegan.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, that was pretty much my only question was like the stem cell thing. I have no issues with people who are vegan or anything like that. I think there's nothing wrong with it. If you have the ability to reason that killing animals is wrong, I think you're a good person and that's what you believe.
Okay, thank you. You just find out there's no God. Poor guy.
I mean, it wasn't the worst point I heard a guest make tonight. Hey, I'm kind of like the last real guest. I agree with you on all these things. I think you're right about veganism. I'm trying to get there, kind of. It's harder. I have kids and stuff. It is not easy. But I'm curious about what your take is on like pets. And you were talking earlier about how, you know, you're not going to waste your time trying to make a dog think that it should be vegan. I agree with you. But I own dogs. I take care of 2 dogs and a cat, and they all eat, you know, dog and cat food, which does have fish and lamb and all the stuff in it, which is probably made from the scraps, I'm sure, of the cheapest factory farmed barns out there. And I don't know how to get around that. What's your opinion on it, or what do you think the future of having pets is going to look
Well,
like if the world goes vegan?
dogs, well, first of all, pets themselves, I think, is wrong to have. If you're just going to breed them, just to have them. Breeding pets is wrong. So that's what
I
I would
agree.
say. But rescuing animals is perfectly fine to me, you know. Now, when it comes to dogs, dogs can be vegan. You can feed them plant-based foods, and they can be perfectly fine and healthy. In fact, some studies show they can be healthier with vegan foods. And there are many company brands that provide vegan dog food. The same with cat food. It's possible to give your cat vegan food and they be healthy. You just gotta be a little bit
Significantly
careful.
more expensive, right?
You just got, well, yeah, but you also got to be a bit more careful because cats do require specific nutrients.
Okay. Right. Yeah.
Uh,
Well, I
but
do know that my dogs
I would
love
try my
fruit.
best. What I would do is say, try your best to minimize animal products in your pet food.
I appreciate that. I mean, and it sounds weird to say like try your best not to be part of slaughtering other species, but in the way that the world is set up right now, that is a complicated thing to dodge. So thank you for that. Thanks for that input. I will say really quick too. I was the guy in your chat the other night. I work at the Planetary Society that Carl Sagan founded. I talked to you for just like 2 seconds over there. I love all your Sagan stuff, man. Keep up the good work and carry on.
Thank you. Good old Sagan. Hello. Oh. What are my thoughts on transgender people playing sports? Yeah. Well, I'll say that there is a clear disadvantage to people who are not transgender when in specific circumstances. So I think that has to be considered. I would support limiting, in some circumstances, transgender people from participating in certain events in sports, but I think at the same time, people need to be more lenient. People need to be more cautious, need more understanding, and we need to do more. We need to do more to accommodate them. You know, instead of saying that, oh no, you're transgender. Oh no, you must play this sport. If you don't, you know, or you must change your gender for the sport. That's stupid. It's a hard thing. It's a hard thing, but it's hard to accommodate everybody, right? But there's also the problem with the school system that makes it so black and white. I think it shouldn't be so black and white. Yeah, there's of course many nuances. Of course, when you the disadvantages are minimized under certain conditions, but of course there's always an exception, right? There's always the case where somebody has a clear advantage. So it's hard. It's hard to accommodate for everybody, and that's why this debate has been going on for so long, because there's so much nuance. But I think we on all sides we can accommodate. Try as best as we can to accommodate for as many people as we can. What else can we do? What else can we do? I mean, nothing's perfect in this world. Stop ducking me.
You made me look like a madman. Everybody tap on his profile. Look.
Oh man, I miss being a child. Good old days. TikTok will be banned in 15 minutes. There is no. Thank you, Zach, for the Venmo. Thank you. Yeah, in my view, I don't think there will be a ban of TikTok. I think that TikTok has too much of a investment to just go out, strip away from the U.S. I think that somebody will buy it. I think, if this passes, which I think it will, somebody's going to buy it. Either Meta, who knows? But TikTok is a very big app, and I don't see them just getting rid of it, letting it slip away from their hands that easily. I think they will fight as hard as they can to keep it. So, I don't know though. It's possible, but this app has so much potential. Rumble wants to buy it. Oh no, they don't have enough money. Rumble does not have enough money. The only companies that really have enough money is Meta and Google. Apple. I don't know. It's a very difficult situation. Mr. Wonderful? Well, he wouldn't buy it outright. I think he would perhaps become the new CEO. I think he would change things about the company. They wouldn't just buy it, perhaps. He wouldn't just buy it. He might. Mr. Wonderful is probably the best bet, I think, actually, because he is more resourceful. He's not a company. He's an individual investor, so he'll probably be more resourceful in trying to figure out a solution. He knows how to navigate the world of finances. Okay. Who else we got?
What's up, Mike? Hey, so are you doing questions, or can I ask you questions about any topic? Or 'cause I want to know what's your favorite type of science?
So the greatest thing about science is that every discipline is interconnected. Nature doesn't care about physics or biology. Nature is all science combined. So that's the beautiful thing about science. If you find yourselves as a physicist, there's always some other aspect of science that you're going to deal with. There's never this one science that's best. And that's the beautiful part about it. But I will say that I love learning about the earth, nature. I love learning about space, astronomy, but all sciences are interconnected.
Okay, nice. I like that answer. One more thing. I was vegan for 2 years, bro, and now I'm not vegan. And the reason why I changed was like I was losing weight and I felt like I was lacking in nutrition and stuff like that. So, do you have any like evidence or facts about like how vegans like actually get more nutritions or equal nutritions to like non-vegan people? You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, look, you can be a vegan and be healthy, just like you can be a vegan and be unhealthy, just like you can be a meat eater and be unhealthy. It all has to do with your diet, right? Whatever you're eating, what were you eating on your vegan diet?
Honestly, it was just like mostly like those frozen foods and like fruits and vegetables and like vegan protein shakes, shit like that.
Yeah, you look, the best thing to do is to go whole foods, plant-based. Eat lots of fruits, vegetables, beans, grains, right? Whole foods. You don't want to buy that frozen shit because
Oh,
that's not going to make you healthy.
oh, yeah,
So
that makes more sense. Yeah, I need to do more research on it because low key, you're like inspiring me to go more vegan. I was like, shit, I should kind of go back, but I just want to get on to ask you those two questions, honestly. But hey, one more before I go. If you were to be a religious person, what religion would you be?
Saganist.
Satanist?
Yeah.
All right, hell yeah. All right, for sure, bro. Enjoy your live. Thanks for having me on, man.
All right. Have a good day.
Thanks.
Stop ducking me. Here he is. Let's hear him.
Just keep talking, bro.
You just watched the debate just with Darth. Can I say something real quick?
Hello. Yeah, dude. I just want to apologize. Like I said, I'm still Christian. I don't think religion and science have to be mutually exclusive. I believe I really respect science. I wish I knew a lot more about science. I will continue to learn more about science. Um, but I just think the way the debate went, it's almost like he did to you what I watched you do to a lot of people. It seemed like he humbled you, but you held your ground pretty solid. And I think you're very, very smart. You do know a lot. Like I think you probably know more than anyone I've ever heard about science, and I respect that. I respect your how you want to be kind to animals, and I think you have a really good heart. I think you really, really do. I think basically what I think is you two can bridge the gap between science and religion. I think you could both convince each other, basically.
What? Wait. You think what Darth did on that debate was good?
No. I think the way he handles himself is horrible. I think
Okay.
he needs to change.
So when you say he humbled me, what do you mean?
He would basically because he knows a lot about the Christian about the Christian faith and the Bible, and you know a lot about science.
Yeah, he never talked about it in the debate. He did not defend his belief. All he did was configure the logics in such a way that it forced me to say yes or no to questions that I never even held to. From the beginning, I said I don't agree with his definition of God. Yet he continued to push it on me as if I believed it. That's not true. But I did it for the sake of the argument so we can get through it. But he never did. He never defended his beliefs. I think what he did was terrible. I think what he did on the debate was an embarrassment.
How did it end? How did it end? Did he leave or did you cut him?
Oh, so you didn't watch it?
No, I watched like a solid 3-4 minutes, and I was like pretty stoked about how it was going.
Okay, yeah, the debate was longer than that, way longer than that. But the point is that he would not defend his view, so I kicked him off.
Got it. Yeah, he does. He does
would
need to
not
change.
defend his view.
Yeah, he does need to change how he debates. It's pretty the way he cuts people. He does like cut people off. He was cutting you off when you were trying to explain, and that was the first time I've seen you not cut somebody off and actually listen. Probably because he.
Look, Darth is a waste of time. It is a waste of time to talk to someone like that. I bring them up so I could show people that this is how Christians act and behave. Just philosophy bros. But hopefully people understood now why people understand that there's nothing there. There's nothing there on their side. They have nothing but faith. So they're building a house of cards. Right? The foundation of their belief system is a house of cards. It's about to fall over. Easily can fall over and collapse. So, see this guy here.
Yep.
How old are you?
20.
Oh, okay. What do you got?
Oh yeah, I was just wondering your thoughts. I'm vegetarian, so like we kind of share like the similar belief in that. But my thing is more like, what's like I understand that milk itself isn't nutritionally necessary for us, but what's kind of the moral like aspect as to why we shouldn't drink milk, or like milk that comes from cows? To specify.
Well, because in order to produce milk for the masses, we have to breed cows. We have to make them pregnant. The cows don't make milk unless they're pregnant, so we have to impregnate them forcibly. We stick our fist down their you-know-whats and make them pregnant. That's atrocious. That's disgusting. And a lot of these cows are their bodies are so inflamed because we force them to make so much milk. They've been bred for so many years. Now their mammary glands are so inflamed, and they want to be milked, and it's like we made it so that if we don't milk them, they can get infections. It's disgusting. It's just imagine if we bred a bunch of people for their breast.
No, I understand that. You're talking about
that's the same thing to me. I think it's disgusting.
Yeah, you're talking about the like over enlargement of the mammary gland, but like I'm saying, like within, isn't that that's a genetic thing that we've incurred onto them? So like within the current state of it, do you think it's still possible to do it within a humane way, considering that their glands are already enlarged?
There is no humane way to forcibly impregnate somebody.
No. Oh, okay. I meant like if they already you said their gland is increased, would the milk still be enough to support both the calf and an extra consumption, or is it
the calves are stolen from the mothers? That's another terrible aspect of it. The calves are stolen from the mother, and they're sold off to be veal. At least the male cows. The female cows are bred so that they can become milk producers too. It's a cycle of torture, and it can stop with us. It's a simple choice to just drink almond milk. What's so bad about almond milk? What's so wrong about oat milk? They're tastier, and there's way less harm involved.
Oh, okay. I mean, I was like, yeah, I already alluded to the fact that we don't even need like it's not even a dietary like need for us anyway, milk in general.
No, we're not calves. We're humans. We don't need baby.
That's what I said. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like, would you consider like, is all like, because I know there's some like people that like consider that like certain insects kind of like on limits. Would you say the same? Like I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. I know, but there's some people.
No, insects are animals. I will not consume an animal if I don't have to.
Okay. Because some people have it like as if, I know it's like kind of fringe, but like some people have it as though certain insects we wouldn't like entail that they're as conscious as like something like a cow or a dog. So like it's something they would put on limits.
Well, Well, then I would disagree with them. I think that we shouldn't harm any animals if we don't have to. So,
Yeah, that's Reddit.
all right, thank you. How many animals are killed to grow 1 acre of kale? Probably less than 5. Most animals that die in crop fields don't die because we're growing food. They die because they come up to the crops and die from predators. They get killed they get eaten by predators. No vegan intends to kill crop animals. No, we're not intending to kill those animals in the crop fields. So there's no reason to think that we are doing something bad by eating vegan foods. Was there a Big Bang? Yeah, we can see it. We can still see it.
Can I comment on the evolution?
Okay.
So there's a set number of living entities that actually the soul is transmigrating through. So they start off, there's aquatics, there's plant life, there's reptiles, there's birds, there's beasts, and then you eventually come up to the human platform. It's not kind of like a fish, grows legs and turns into a reptile. No, that's all nonsense. There's actually 8,400,000 species, and the soul transmigrates from species to species until you get to the most elevated form, which is the human body.
Oh, we're so elevated. Wow, that's amazing. What a coincidence that humans are the ones saying that they're the most elevated species. When we take a look at the animal kingdom, and many animals are way more superior to us than in terms of flying and motion and even hand-eye coordination, eyesight, hearing, taste, smell. We are the bottom of the barrel when it comes to sensory systems. We're the worst. The idea that
You're kind
the
of right
best
about that
species
because
is
we're
ridiculous.
still animals. We're still animals unless you utilize the religious
Okay,
propensity.
okay, but
If you don't utilize the scriptures and you learn about
sir,
self-realization and all these
sir,
things, then you're an animal.
sir, look at what you said today. What you said was that humans are elevated. What does that even mean, elevated, right? That seems to be extremely egotistical, right? Extremely
Complex
human-centered.
vocal cords, hot meals, cooking, comfort, air conditioning, grocery stores full of food. Where's the Dolphins grocery store there, Mike? So
Well,
I mean, if you want to be an
how
animal,
about
there's
how
the
about all the
slaughterhouse.
tragedies? How about all the tragedies? How about Gaza? How about the Holocaust? No animal had done that before. Does that mean that we're worse than the animals?
That's happening in the animal kingdom even more. It's even more vicious. There's
Where?
so many of these predators subsist on the living entities of others. So I mean,
That's
after you
not the
die,
same as, sir. That is not the same as the Holocaust or war or any the things the church's things that we've done.
it is the same. Death is death. Death is death. It doesn't
No,
matter
sir.
which
No,
form
sir.
it comes.
Not at all, sir. There's you're comparing a Holocaust to eating food for survival. That's a different.
Well, who set the standard to morality for that then, Mike?
Well,
Where's
nobody.
so you say it's wrong, but
That's
they
not.
thought
That's
it was
not.
right.
That's not even
Who's
irrelevant.
setting the standard for morality, Mike, if there's no God?
We do.
Okay, well, they thought it was good. So, I mean, who are you
Well,
to say
I'm
that they're
sorry.
bad because they thought what they're doing was good?
Well, who are you to say that we're elevated?
Because they can have hot meals, because they can
Okay,
read
and
religious
so what?
scriptures,
So what?
because they can
Who are
write
you?
books. I don't see the pigs going to church. The hogs don't go to church. The hogs don't have AC.
Because
They're
they're smart.
eating
Because they don't
stool.
waste their time. They're not wasting their time like we do in church.
They're
They're
eating
smart.
poop.
Well,
Mike, do you
you're
want to
eating,
eat poop?
you're eating their body. You're eating their asses.
I don't eat meat. I'm a vegetarian.
Okay, well, you still drink their pus.
Well, no, because cows are being a sacred. They've been integral to society
If
since
they're
time
sacred,
immemorial.
if they're so sacred, then leave them alone. Stop
The
harming
milk,
them.
the
How
milk, it
how
creates
could you call
cheese and
yourself, sir?
butter and
Sir,
paneer.
how can you call yourself an elevated species when you're harming others for no reason?
I don't. The milk is turned into sour cream. It's turned into yogurt and butter and ghee. The cow gives
Yeah,
milk in
but
exchange for
look at what you're
protection
doing.
from
Look at,
humans.
look at what you're
But
doing
the
when you.
people who go slaughter the cow are actually the big.
But you're paying them to do so. Right? You're the one causing these animals to suffer and be harmed. You're the one causing that. You have no right to sit there and say we're superior when you're harming them for no reason. Let them be. Okay.
We're
But
offering protection for the milk. We're not killing.
no, you are causing them to die and be abused. Okay. I'm sorry. And by the way, that has nothing to do with evolution at all. There is no spirit that traverses species. Okay. Mike, I lost that one. Oh yeah, I really lost that one, guys. My career's over because sour cream. Oh, okay.
Hey, Mike. Okay.
Hi.
Yeah, so I see in the Q&A, okay, religion. So, you're one of them atheists, right?
Yeah.
So, all right, what's your argument? Why don't you think the Christian God is real? I don't understand here. I mean, I think there's some intriguing arguments there as to why Christian God is real.
There's no evidence of it.
What about the Bible?
You mean the book that says donkeys can talk and people can walk on water? That's your proof?
Donkeys? Donkeys? What are you talking? Yeah, so when we look at the Bible, when we look at things like Genesis, when we look at, I mean, we have these promised people, nah, I'm just fucking with you. I'm a fucking agnostic. You just got trolled, bro. Guys, join Mike Brigandi's Discord server. For real, though.
Okay, have a good day, buddy. Okay. Is it okay to eat bugs? No, not to me. Bugs are sentient, right? Bugs can feel. So can fish. People don't understand this, right? Like, look at how ignorant we are, right? Let's stick a hook into an animal's mouth, and look, it's flapping its arms around. Oh, it must not feel pain. Come on, look at how short-sighted we are. Look at how naive we are. Plants are alive, but they're not sentient. They don't have nervous systems or brains. How does life come from non-life? Watch my video on abiogenesis. We have lots of good reasons to think that life can only come from non-life. How else do we get omega-3s? Beans, nuts, seeds, some vegetables, some fruits like mangoes. Many, many sources of omegas and plants. You are just too aggravating. Okay. It's just so predictable to see Christians' bios. It's always, I love Jesus. Jesus is king. It's so predictable. Hmm. Why do people have so much hate on Christians? We don't hate Christians. We hate your Bible, which is full of atrocities, full of hatred and bigotry, violence. What if the universe isn't eternal? Okay. Great, whatever. Could be. Maybe not. We don't know. What happens after you die? You rot away. Your body gets eaten by microbes and worms, and that's it. Oh, that's so sad. Well, it's reality. Get used to it, guys. I mean, think about the reasons why you believe in the afterlife. I mean, nobody wants to believe you just die. Of course not. But what if it's true? You never thought about that before? You know, it's as if like it's just you want there to be an afterlife. Maybe that's what's happening when you believe in God. Maybe you just want there to be an afterlife, right? Maybe you just can't fathom a world where you just die. You know, as if that's such a bad thing to believe. When to me, it's the reason why I'm here. It's life is incredible because it's finite and rare and delicate.